All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahushai, Baal Shem Chakodash. Double honors to the apostle elders, great millstone, and salutes on to you brothers out there preaching the word, sharing the truth. All right, got this article here from Bloomberg. It's entitled House Republicans plan to vote on debt limit spending cuts next week. Okay. House Republicans are planning to vote next week on bill that could raise the U.S. debt ceiling, and enact deep cuts to U.S. spending, with conservatives demanding additional changes, and President Joe Biden and other Democratic leaders refusing to offer concessions in exchange. All right. Now, if they don't come up with an agreement, the government is going to shut down. All right. And it'd be a perfect time for these other countries to basically send all these other countries that's, attached to the BRICS nations, to send all their dollar bills flooding back to America, So this is a perfect storm the Lord is setting up. All right. We have an outline of a plan, and there's still input coming in. Rules Committee Chairman Tom Cole of Oklahoma said Tuesday, "I'm confident we will pass it." Republicans are betting that if the House passes the bill, which would either suspend the debt ceiling until May 2024 or raise the cap by a dollar amount estimated to cover U.S. expenditures until then, they can intensify pressure on the Democrats to consider combinations. Representative Kevin Hern, also an Oklahoma Republican, said the debt ceiling increase would be about $2 trillion. All right, and then they're just basically voting on debt, man, because once you print fiat currency that's not backed by anything, that's not backed by gold or silver, it ain't even backed by petrol anymore, the dollar bill, because Saudi Arabia turned it back on America. So it's just basically fiat currency, which means currency that's built on faith, and all these countries, a lot of these countries in the world are turning their back on the American dollar. All right. So confidence and faith is already being lost, okay, in this American dollar. So what does that leave you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans living in Great Babylon, America? Well, that's going to leave you with, a currency that's, not worth anything, which is going to lead into hyperinflation, And the average so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans don't even understand how the financial system goes. They don't understand about hyperinflation. They don't know what the effects is going to have on them. All right. And the scriptures get into that. Okay. Let's see if I can. But see it's a lot of information on here. Let's read this. Republican brinksmanship on the U.S. borrowing limit threatens to default on debt, which is going to throw us in a gigantic recession. If we're not already in a recession, we're already in a recession. Not we, but Great Babylon, America is already in a recession. And it's going to lead into a hyperinflation depression. And beyond, unless he gets what he wants on the budget, Biden said Tuesday he called on McCarthy and Republicans to take the threat of default off the table and release a budget outlining its tax and spending plans. Okay, so it's a fight between Republicans and Democrats on this whole debt ceiling debacle. All right, so let's go to the scriptures, man. And it's gonna lead to a civil war. Scriptures already got it. The Lord already got it organized. Isaiah the 19th chapter and the 2nd verse. And I would set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. Now the modern day Egypt, okay, is America. All right. America is known as Great Babylon. All right, Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, Rome, Greece, okay, Nineveh. Because America, upholds all those pagan gods of the ancient empires. All right, America upholds and believes in all those philosophies and gods and idols. All right, of the Egyptians or the Romans or the Greece, the Babylonians. I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight, everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor. So basically Egypt is, in a political sense, Egypt, America is divided into basically two political parties, Democrats and Republicans. All right. In ancient Rome, it was the plebeians and the patricians. Okay. Since it's the modern day Roman Empire, it's Democrats against the Republicans, and they're fighting against each other, and it's literally going to become a civil war, all right, to come, and things like this, starting in the government, fights, inner fighting in the government, that's going to be a start of civil wars, okay? It's happening inside the government, and it's going to trickle down. It's going to spread to the average citizens, okay? I read that again, Isaiah 19:2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. They shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. See that? So that's that civil war that's coming here in the shores of America. Okay, let me grab 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. Because the Lord is, He's taking down America, its economy, its money system. Okay, He's taking down the morale of the people. America was once looked at as a beacon of hope. Anyone can come to America and make it. Now it's not looking like that anymore. Okay. Now it's no hope. It's bleak. It's a bleak future here in America. All right, I'm trying to find a good 2nd Ezra 15th chapter and 12, since it's talking about, verse 10. Behold, my people was led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. That's talking about the modern day Egypt is America. The word Egypt means double straits, bondage, okay? And that's where you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans served slavery. Okay, under the Egyptians, which is the so-called white man. Okay, that's the modern day Egyptian, so-called white man. Esau, Edom. Okay, and the Lord said He's going to bring plagues, you know, as before. You know, ancient Egypt over there in the landmass, what you call Africa, had 10 plagues. All right, the Lord is bringing those plagues back into the modern day Egypt, America. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting in hell, which is fearful consolation. Yep, all these storms that the Lord is putting down on America, you know, destroying the crops. Esau as well, destroying the crops, destroying farmland, destroying farm animals, you know, blowing up farms, exploding them. Yeah. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. One people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, modern day swords, the gun. For there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. So the American citizen, once this prophecy takes place, the American citizen is not going to regard their politicians, you know, starting with the president on down in the government. Okay? They're not going to care what they say. It's going to be dog eat dog. Okay? Everybody out for themselves. Because it's going to be an atmosphere of survival, you know. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of the pride of the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, famine. Okay, and that's going to happen during our hyperinflation. There's going to be a famine, okay? Also these shortages, you know, that's happening. Okay? Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. See that? So these are the times that's coming here in this land, America. Okay? So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for right now. Shalom.